Mr. Hoyer, after 14 years of being in foster care, you desperately searched for your father. Sadly, that search ended when you learned that your alleged father, Mr. James Horne, was tragically killed. To make matters worse, you claim his family rejected you, and so you're here today to prove to them that you are indeed his son and finally have a family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Porter, you and your mother, Ms. Horne, who's joining us from her hometown, are adamant that Mr. Hoyer is not biologically part of your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim that before Mr. Horne passed away, he clearly stated that he had no children, and you believe today's DNA results will prove him right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Finally, Ms. Gentry, you are Mr. Hoyer's mother. You say you're hoping to build a better relationship with him today by truthfully answering the court's questions in an effort to determine the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit you are unsure who fathered your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Hoyer, please share, what was it like growing up without a father?
Your Honor, it was like hell growing up without a father. I was taken away when I was 3 and 9. I was in foster care for 14 years, got adopted when I was 14. Never got to learn how to shave, never got to learn how to tie a tie. I don't know who my father is because my mom used to be a stripper. I feel that if I did know my biological father, my life would have been totally different.
And so you were told that Mr. Horne was one of the men that potentially could be your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you learn that?
A couple months ago. It was my 23rd birthday. I went to my mom's house to go say hi, and her new boyfriend was like, "You look like your father," which stopped me right there in my tracks. So I was like, "Wait, you know my father?" He was like, "Yeah, your father is James Horne."
And this was the first person that had looked at you and said, "You look just like him."
Yes, Your Honor, and I actually have a photo here.
Jerome, may I see that, please? So this is a photo of the man you were told is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you look at this picture, do you see yourself?
I do in some ways. I see myself through the smile and through the forehead and the eyebrows.
Miss Porter, all of this time, these years before your brother passed, he never mentioned having a child?
Never.
Were you close to him?
Yes, we were very close, Your Honor. Very, very close. He mentioned on his deathbed that he never had any children.
But Mr. Hoyer, you believe he is your father, and you went searching for his family.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you find his family?
My older brother lives next door to my alleged father's brother. And he went over and asked my alleged uncle about the name, James Horne, and he's like, "Yes, that's my brother." So my adopted brother came and got me, took me over to his neighbors, and that's how I met him.
What was that encounter like? What happened? Take me step by step.
When I approached the house, I walked into the door. My alleged uncle was like, "So you're my brother's son?" I was like, "I guess I am. I really don't know." He was like, "Well, let me see your hands." So I stuck my hands like this, and they looked at my hands. They were like, "You do have our hands. You have just small hands, but the long fingers." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, my brother had the same type of hands as you do." That actually got me excited for a brief minute, but there was others in the household that was like, "You don't look like my brother."
Okay. So, Ms. Horne, when this young man walks into your home and says he thinks he's your grandson, what were you thinking?
Well, my son Arthur brought him in, and he said, "I want you to see him. See, is this your grandson?" And here's the word I said. I said no, because I hadn't heard it before. Because before my son left me, he said he didn't have any kids. And I'm going by what he say.
Had your son ever mentioned Mr. Hoyer or Miss Gentry?
No, ma'am.
Miss Gentry, why is it they know nothing about you or your son?
My parents, they never accepted biracial relationships, never. So we kept it a secret. We were really in love.
Had you planned to marry?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Did he feel like it would be an issue with his family?
Somewhat.
So, Miss Porter, do you feel like it would have been an issue?
No.
Did you ever hear your brother was dating
Never.
and was going to marry this woman?
Yeah, I ain't never heard him say nothing about marrying nobody like that. No.
Ms. Horne, did you ever have any idea your son was in a serious relationship?
No, ma'am. I never heard him say that.
Never.
So I guess your secret was safe because they have no idea.
It was a secret. I didn't even know I was really pregnant until I was 6 months. But like I have told my son, there is another man before this man.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So what you're saying is you were open and honest with your son that you had also been intimate with another man before Mr. Horne.
Yes, yes.
You're lying.
Me and my sons talked about this.
So when you had your son, was Mr. Horne there? Was he involved with your son?
Yes, Mr. Horne has seen my son one time. I left out of the relationship because I had all this controversy with my family, all right? Me and my baby.
Well, because when he was born, the secret was out at that point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when I found out he was dead, it devastated me, you know? I mean, it just devastated me because I loved him so much.
No, she's not telling the truth. When the first time we ever seen her was 2 weeks after the funeral. 2 weeks after my brother was put in the ground, this young lady came and knocked at my mother's door. She says, I have your brother's child. I'm like, that's not my brother's child. Get out of here. I mean, we was trying to keep our cool, but this is not my brother's child.
And why were you so sure?
He didn't look nothing like us. Nothing. Didn't have no resemblance of my brother. And we still grieving and trying to find out what done happened to my brother. I said, no, get out of this house and don't come back.
And you remember that day?
I remember being shunned away with my baby.
So wait, you admit you weren't certain that it was his child.
I was not certain.
So what made you march over to their door and say that he was his child if you weren't sure?
It could be his son.
It could be. Do you remember her saying it could be, or did she say it is?
I can't say because this is 23 years later.
At that time when you turned around and you walked away, did you say to yourself, oh, well, they don't want to be a part of his life, I'm going to go contact the other gentleman?
No, I did not. I just walked out and I forgot all about it.
Okay. And so you said there is another gentleman, so where was he and why didn't you reach out to him?
I think he was locked up and I left it alone.
Your Honor, it's sad this young man got to hear what we got to say, but when she told him anything about my brother, it was awful. She told him he was a crackhead. She told him he was a drunk. She told him he wasn't no good. My brother was an upstanding.
Excuse me, did I ever tell you that?
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
I remember the first day. I remember the first day I asked. I was about 4 years old.
All I said is your father is dead. That's all I said, and I left it at that.
He went to the store to get him some milk and some Pampers, and he got killed. That was a lie too.
I never told him that either.
That was a lie too.
Would you like to take a lie detector test?
After 23 years, we don't know nothing about this young man. It's a whole lot you need to take.
The way you treated me, you think I'm going to come back to you?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but it's getting off my chest.
And my baby, you threw us out of the house?
Yes.
No, we ain't coming back to that.
Yes, we gonna go back to that. We gonna go back to all of it, because we gonna get the truth today.
Well, you know
today is the truth. And if he is, after 23 years, he won't have to deal with you. He won't have to deal with you.
I'll always be his
because
mother.
he will get what's coming to him.
Why not? I always be his mother.
You might always be the mother, but you're not a mama. A mama. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but this is a lot on my chest. It's a story to tell that I want the world to know how this woman did his child right here when he could have been at our household. He could have been with us if he was the child.
You didn't want him then, and you sure now don't want him now.
That's what you think. But we don't want you. We want him, but we don't want you. And we don't want to have nothing to say to you. I hope you get your life together. Because you bringing up a whole lot. You hurting my mother. You hurting me. You hurting our whole entire family. He don't know nothing about no aunts and uncles,
You need to come up
no
and take it up with
grandparents.
him.
He don't know nothing.
Miss Horne, I have to ask you, because as you can hear, this is a very passionate.
Now let me see.
Excuse me, ladies.
Ma'am, act appropriately.
Let's
Sorry,
be
please forgive me.
appropriate in court. Ms. Horne, I have to ask you though, do you have any regrets that day for turning her away and saying this couldn't possibly be your son's child?
He didn't have no kids. And the undertaker man come to my house too and said, we can't find no evidence of his having no kids.
And so your belief is, I just believe in what my son told me.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel that there's any possibility that he could be your grandchild?
It could be. I can't prove it, ma'am. I wish it was. I hope so.
You said you do hope so.
We do.
Now, each of you have submitted photos. Now, this first set of photos is Mr. Hoyer at 8 years old and a young picture of Mr. Horne. Do you see a resemblance?
Not really. Not in that one.
Do you see yourself at all?
I can see myself in the smile.
And then the second set of photos are these photos.
Now right there, that's when we noticed it. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And how about you, sir? Mr. Hoyer, you see your face?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can I say this?
Yes, you may.
This is 23 years, 23 years. My brother's been deceased to this day. When he got hit on his bike, which he did all kinds of tricks on bicycle. That's what he liked to do. And when my mother got a call that he had been in an accident, they came to us and they told us that his heart's beating, but his brain's not functioning. Doctor comes and tells you you got to pull the plug on your child. You got to make a decision knowing that he don't have nothing left behind. Nothing. No kids, no nothing. Only thing he got is we got memories of him, pictures. And then for a young man to come to the door and knock and say he's this child. And if he is, I want him. I want him. I want him, Johnny.
Mr. Hoyer, how does that make you feel?
Your Honor, that makes me relieved that there's someone out there that will accept me. So hopefully I am James Horne's son, because I will actually have a place where I will be able to fit in. I don't like being unwanted. I just want a fairy tale family. Just a family that will make me happy. A family that I can make happy. Not a family that will despise me just because I'm biracial. Not a family that doesn't want me around because I'm half black. I want a family that wants me around for who I am.
And you deserve that. You deserve that, sweetheart.
Yes,
you do.
Yes, he do.
I think it's time for the results.
Yes, he do. Yes, he do.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Hoyer v. Gentry, Porter, Horne, as it pertains to the likelihood of whether Mr. James Horne is your biological father, the DNA test results have determined that Mr. Horne is not likely your biological father.
See, son, you shouldn't have done this.
No, you shouldn't have done this.
Excuse me. You should have been, honest with me from the get-go.
Ms. Gentry, I know you did not just tell him what he should not have done. You didn't just look at your son and say that.
You were never there from when I was in foster care.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
You gave up everything. Your kids, me. And it hurts for me to see this lady right here crying next to me. She wanted her brother to have a son. I thought I was. And to find out that I'm not, it hurts. Because I don't know who he is.
I understand. I understand. And you know, there are times in life, honestly, when we just don't get what we so desperately want. And it feels unfair.
Yes, Your Honor.
I would have liked nothing more than to be able to say you were the son of her brother. And you are her nephew. But the truth is the truth.
I still got love for you. I'm gonna tell you after going through this, if you need anything, I'll be there for you.
Thank you.
Now that is what family is all about. Miss Sanchez-Brown, you say that after 4 years and multiple children together, your marriage is now in crisis. You claim your husband is denying paternity of your 1-month-old daughter, Journey, and it is tearing you apart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you say your wife kicked you out of the house in order to realize her fantasy of being a middle-aged single sorority girl.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim your wife spent that 3-month separation with multiple men, and you say it is physically impossible for you to have fathered her daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
This case was referred to me by Judges Dana and Keith Cutler after cheating allegations landed you in their court. Ms. Sanchez-Brown, how have his accusations put your marriage in crisis?
Sean knows that he's the father of our daughter. I did not make this child by myself. And for him to deny her, yeah, it hurts my feelings. It really breaks me down as a mother. I'm a mother of 7. A mother of 7 kids. But me and him,
You're a mother of 7 children?
Of 7 children.
At 25 years old?
Yes. And for him to just deny her like that after we had 4 together, so why all of a sudden would he accuse me of cheating, of anything, when he knows that this is his?
Your Honor, the baby not mine simply because we've been going through a lot. She ended up kicking me out the house during this time. And so as respectful I am, I left the house.
But kicking you out the house doesn't mean she made a baby with somebody else.
It do, because during the time she kicked me out the house, this was her time to, you know, have her fun. She wanted to go out. I was going to pick up our other kids, babysitting. She dressing nice. She's going out to all different clubs. I have people calling me saying they're seeing her with other men. And then during the time that she conceives the baby, I wasn't even at the house.
And so were you living the single life, Miss Sanchez-Brown?
No.
You were not?
It's no time to play because I have 7 kids. If I'm gonna play, it's with my kids. And on top of that, he was never kicked out. He was back and forth. So it's like he'll leave and then he'll come back.
Okay, but during that time...
And when we're still sexually active.
But during that time, Your Honor, a man even approached me saying I slept with your wife. And so a man just up out his mouth and say that to me, how do I supposed to feel?
Who is this man?
From what I know, just a person from the neighborhood that knows her.
And he just walks up to you and says, "Excuse me, Mr. Brown."
Because it's
He's a family friend.
A family friend.
You know who this man is?
Yes, I do.
You say it's a family friend?
He's a family friend, and he's been around me since forever.
But were you having sex with him?
No. He probably got mad at him for yelling at him or something.
So why would a man tell your husband, I am having sex with your wife? Even if he was mad at the way he was yelling, he didn't like the way he was treating you, there are a whole bunch more things he could say to your husband besides,
Your Honor,
I'm sleeping with your wife. That's not gonna diffuse the situation. That's gonna make it pop off even worse.
Your Honor.
I don't know if the man wanted to even like me or anything. So.
Your Honor, I got family members, her family members calling me up. One night, Crystal dropped the kids off at 4 or 5 in the morning, hey, Crystal ain't been over here to pick up the kids. I got to stop what I'm doing at 5 in the morning to go pick these kids up. So where are you at?
My friend's car had broke down and overheated, and that's where all this is coming from. Because I just literally got stranded.
At 5 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get stranded out at 5 a.m.?
I was out the night before. He's telling the truth. I was out the night before hanging out with some friends, and we left around 2, and we were driving.
But you just said you just said the only playing and the only stuff you do is with your kids because you got 7 kids and you're not out here running around going out. Now you're out.
I go out. It's just I don't go out like how he's claiming to be, as if I'm like a party girl or anything like that. It's just to get away for a little
Well, if you go out somewhere and you're stranded out until 5 a.m., where else are you except a party? Where are you?
I was out partying.
Because nothing lasts till 2 a.m. but a party.
And she telling me during this time, Your Honor, you know, by us arguing so much and that we got the kids, that she needs time to herself. She want to go, you know, drink. And I've been with her for years, and she never, you know, wanted to drink and do these things. So what I supposed to do if I'm seeing the difference in my wife? All of a sudden now you want to go out. All of a sudden now you want to have your space. And
oh, so you're believing that this whole kick you out the house thing, you all live separately, she needs some space, was to give her room to live out her sorority girl fantasy, you said?
Yes, Your Honor.
No.
But how can I not believe that, Your Honor? I got friends that owns nights clubs and bars. One of my friends called me because he simply seen her at a club with another man.
Oh,
Simply
really?
called me up. They both getting drunk, wasted. Then she leaves with the man. My homie called me up. I'm trying to call her phone. She not answering. Well, I got the kids at home.
So your friend sees your wife with another man at the club.
Yes.
I want to hear from that friend. Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Booth into the courtroom?
Go right up here on the left, stand on the left side of him.
Mr. Booth, thank you for joining us today. What is your relationship to Mr. Brown?
Oh, Mr. Brown, like a big brother to me.
All right.
Like, I've been knowing him for about 10 years. I'm also a DJ at the club that I had seen Crystal at, you know what I'm saying?
All right, so Mr. Brown has testified that you saw with your own eyes his wife out with another man at this club.
Yes, Sean.
What did you see?
I say around Saturday, September 16th, last year, I had seen Crystal in the club with, you know what I mean, a guy, he a little taller than me with dreads, you know what I mean? She had a little freaky dress on, a little sexy dress on, you know what I mean? He was pop locking, dropping it, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? Where
she was pop locking and dropping it?
And Your Honor, how do I supposed to feel as a man? Well, my homie, this is my homie, man. He work at the club, he calling me, man. He see my girl at the club. How you think I feel about that, man? And this is...
And not you just know one time, neither. Not just one time, I seen him several times.
You've seen her several times with that man?
Not him, different guys, you know what I'm saying? So like the first time I seen him, I ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't call him out back. I'm like, all right, man, that's probably just somebody she with while the band, they probably come kick it. But the third time, I'm like, whoa. So I got to holler at my man. This is my blood right here. You know
and that's during the time that the baby was conceived, Your Honor.
So you say it was Saturday, September 16th, and you remember it because you were DJing that night?
Yeah, that's that first, from the first time. I remember that like it was yesterday.
And Mr. Brown, you say that was during the time when you all were separated.
That was during the time where we were separated, and that's during the time that the baby was conceived.
And you submitted a calendar to the court.
Yes, and I step up and show you the calendar, Your Honor?
Please step up and show us, sir.
During the time at the end of August, me and my wife was getting into it, Your Honor. This is when I was kicked out. Journey was born on, as you can see, June 15th. So basically during the time she was conceived was in September, and I was kicked out the house. This is the time
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right in September.
Right in September, and...
The conception window would be right in September during the time you said you were kicked out of the house and you were not sexually active with your wife.
And I wasn't sexually active with my wife, and I didn't get back into the house until the beginning of November, and that's when she told me everything, so of course I denied it.
And Mr. Booth has testified that September 16th, Saturday, was the day he saw her at the club, pop, locking, and dropping it.
Yes, Your Honor.
with the other guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which falls right next to the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which is outlined. You may step back to the podium, sir. So, Mr. Brown, is it your testimony that you were not sexually active with your wife during these months when you were outside of the house? That means the end of August, September,
Yes,
and
Your Honor.
October.
Yes, Your Honor, we were not sexual.
So
active.
untrue.
We didn't do nothing.
So untrue.
And then, Your Honor, I want to bring up when the baby was born, I was at the hospital. We got back on good terms. I signed the footprints. Next thing I know, her family members are coming with this same man that said he slept with my wife. Security had to exit me out the hospital, and that's why I didn't sign a birth certificate. I got all crazy up in the hospital.
He did sign the birth certificate.
He signed the birth certificate?
I got all crazy.
I have the evidence right here. He has signed the birth certificate.
I'd like to see that evidence. Jerome, can you pass that to me, please?
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You've presented to the court certificate of birth, father's full name, Sean Brown, child's full name, Journey Marie Brown. This is the certificate of birth.
From my understanding, Your Honor, I signed the footprints, and like I said, during the hospital, I was escorted out by security because the same man that said he slept with my wife was there present bringing gifts.
That's the thing.
So how do I supposed to feel as a man?
If you're denying her, then why would you sign it?
They letting this man up in the hospital to come see my baby, if that's my baby.
Was he up there bringing a gift, Miss Brown?
Yes, he was, but like other people were giving me gifts.
But if he had already got into it with your husband saying that he was sleeping with you.
I stopped talking to him after that, so I don't even know why.
Well, then further, what I want to understand is if he was up there, stop talking when I'm talking. Because this doesn't make any sense. A man comes up to your husband outside of a house, tells him I'm sleeping with your wife. You go have a baby. You said you had reconciled with your husband. Y'all were trying to figure this thing out. He's up at the hospital signing a certificate of birth, and this man come up with a gift. That don't make no sense.
I don't know if he likes me or obsessed with me, but he has brought a lot of drama between me and my husband.
Oh, that's some drama.
So that's the thing.
But what we want to know is, did he bring more than drama? Did he help bring a baby into the world is what we're here to figure out.
Never.
And the problem is your husband has stated that he signed a certificate of birth. That's the little page where they put the baby's feet on it.
Yeah, that's
But he says he did not sign the birth certificate, but you say that's false. This court actually located and uncovered a copy of Journey's birth certificate. And in fact, under her legal certificate of live birth, there is no father's name listed.
Thank you. If that's my daughter, and why I'm getting escorted out, so of course I'm not finna sign the birth certificate.
The reason why he got escorted out because he was being loud. And I said, I'm not gonna have you yelling around
Okay, but
baby.
if that's my baby, you should want me there before anybody. Why would I want to leave?
But you denied her.
Okay.
That was the thing. When you first looked at her, you're like, oh, she's too white, she's too whatever.
So you're saying, Ms. Brown, when the baby was born, your husband immediately said, that's not my baby.
He's like, she's too light, she doesn't look like me.
I'm thinking maybe the other man is the father.
All right. What's it like at home now?
It's miserable because you don't know where your marriage stands and everything with the kids and then him denying and everything is just all up in one where I don't even know where our marriage stands as of today.
So you just had a baby 1 month ago. That's stressful enough.
But I'm still here as a man. She'll tell you, even them times when she going out, I'm showing up babysitting, right? I'm picking up my kids, I'm there. I'm letting you do you.
I just believe that he's trying to get out of the marriage. Either he's just accusing and poking at me, so of course I'm gonna get up and leave. I'm like, I can't take it no more.
And so when we arguing and she say I'm accusing her and I'm poking her, then I feel like that's her revenge to get back at me.
All right. So I can see right now, we on the path to destruction. In a hurry, going nowhere fast. All these kids having to sit through this all day.
All day.
Don't nobody want to hear that. I don't want to hear it, so I know the kids don't want to hear it.
All day arguing, me getting kicked out the crib, and then I'm still supposed to, and I still come back and be there for her and the kids.
Well, that's why we need the answer. Because then you all have some decisions to make based upon the truth I'm about to give you. Jerome? Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Sanchez-Brown versus Brown, when it comes to 1-month-old Journey Brown, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are the father.
Okay? I get a kiss?
No.
Your Honor, I just wanted to know what's the baby mine, and hopefully, I'm still gonna continue to do what I can, but at the end of the day, we still got a lot to work on because I'm always getting kicked out the crib.
You're doing something right now that I usually see the women do, Mr. Brown. You continue to harp on the past behavior. That's not gonna get us anywhere. If you wanna be with your wife, you all have gotta find out how to trust one another and how to build trust.